So our next junior from Vanderhoof, Yara and Malvie.
Hey Malvina, did you ever eat bee pollen? Yes, Yara. Do you know all the benefits that come from bee pollen? I'm not sure, but I sure know how to produce it. Good afternoon, Madam Chairperson, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow 4-H members. Our names are Malvina and Yara Pavone. And today, we're going to show you how to produce bee pollen in a small scale. Malvina, remind me what bee pollen is. Sure, Yara. Bee pollen is the male seed of flowers. It is required for the fertilization of the plant. Every kind of flower puts forth a dusting of pollen, and the bees will collect it. Bee pollen is the food of young bees, and it's about 40% in protein. It has so many nutrients it can sustain life, so it can be used for human nourishment and health. Bee pollen is richer in proteins than any animal source. It contains more amino acids than beef, eggs, or cheese in equal weights. Materials we need for this project. One bee colony with lots of population, one plastic pollen trap, protection, a face veil and a pair of gloves, 2 stainless steel bowls, 1 Fuji hydrator, 1 air blowing machine, stainless steel tweezers, a large tray, and a kitchen scoop. Food safety equipment. 1 hair cover, 1 pair of latex gloves, and 1 face mask, 1 large glass bowl, and eventually 1 freezer. Procedure. The procedure can be divided into 2 separate stages. The first stage is collecting the bee pollen. The second stage is processing the bee pollen. And of course, let's do the first stage. Step number 1. Make sure your colony is well populated with bees. A well-populated colony should have 40,000 bees or more in late spring. Step number 2. Get a pollen trap. Yara, we have 2 options, the plastic pollen trap and the bottom pollen trap. Which one should we use? Well, the plastic pollen trap goes in front of the colony. So when the bees go through the holes, they drop the pollen into this basket. An advantage about this pollen trap is that we don't get many residues in our pollen. But you have to collect it every other day, otherwise the pollen will get moisture. Another advantage about using this pollen trap is that you can leave the entrance open every other day. Now, why is this important? Honeybees need their pollen to feed their babies, so in this way you don't take all of the pollen from the colony. The bottom pollen trap goes at the bottom of the colony. An advantage about using this pollen trap is that you can collect the pollen every 2 or 3 days, but the problem is you get a lot of residues and your pollen will get moisturized. We'll choose this one. Step number 3. Put your veil and gloves on and take out 1 of your bowls. The reason why we put our protection on is because some bee colonies are pretty aggressive. Even if you have that pollen trap, they get very aggressive. Step number 4. Go to your colony and gently remove the basket out of the trap. Step number 5. Put the pollen carefully in the bucket. Return the basket. Let's go to the second stage, processing. Step number 1, take off your face veil, your gloves, and set your bucket to the side. Step number 2, cover your hair and put on your face mask and latex gloves. In reality, because we're handling food, this doesn't let any diseases that we might have contaminate the pollen. Step number 3, get your bucket from the side. With a kitchen scoop, spread the pollen in the food dehydrator and leave it for 12 hours at 35 degrees. The reason why we do this is because we reduce pollen humidity and avoid moisture. Step number 4, remove the pollen from the dehydrator. Put it in second bowl. And use the kitchen scoop to pass it through the air blowing machine to pick up any light residues such as bee wings, bee legs, etc. Step number 5, take the pollen out and put it on the tray. With tweezers, pick up any residues that the air blowing machine couldn't take. This includes dead larvae, bee parts, etc. Step number 6, finally, put the pollen in a large glass bottle and put it in the freezer. Now we have pollen ready to consume. To review this presentation, one bee colony with lots of population, one plastic bottom trap, protection, a face veil and a pair of gloves, two stainless steel bowls, one food dehydrator, one air blowing machine, stainless steel tweezers, a large tray, and a kitchen scoop. Food safety equipment. One hair cover, one pair of latex gloves, and one face mask. One large glass bottle, and eventually one freezer. Remember that the procedure can be separated into 2 stages. Step number 1, make sure your colony is well populated with bees. Step number 2, get a pollen trap. Step number 3, put on your veil and gloves on and take out one of your bowls. Step number 4, go to your colony and gently remove the pollen out of the basket and put it in the bowl. For the second stage, take off your face veil and gloves, set your bucket to the side. Step number 2, cover your hair, put on your latex gloves and face mask. Step number 3, get your bucket from the side. With a kitchen scoop, spread the pollen in the food dehydrator and leave it for 12 hours at 35 degrees Celsius. Step number 4, remove the pollen from the dehydrator, put it in second bowl, and use kitchen scoop to pass it through the air blowing machine. Step number 5, take the pollen out and put it in the tray. With the tweezers, pick up any residues that the air blowing machine couldn't take. Step number 6, finally, place the pollen in a large glass bottle and put it in the freezer. Are there any questions? Yes?
When you're collecting pollen, are the bees alive after you collected it, or do they have to die when you're done collecting the pollen from them?
The question has been asked, do the bees die when you collect the pollen? Well, they don't necessarily, because as we said before, they need the pollen so they can feed their babies. But they can collect pollen for a long time. So they don't die because we leave the entrance open. So in this way, they can all just go through, put the pollen where they want to. But right here, we take the pollen out because the pollen granules don't fit in the holes, but the bees do. So they don't die. They don't die unless there's lack of pollen. Does that answer your question? Are there any more questions?
What do you use the bee pollen for? Like, how do you weed it?
The question has been asked, what do you use the bee pollen for, or how can you eat it?
You use it for allergies, and if you're allergic to bee pollen, you can just take a bit, like 1 or 2 granules, and put it underneath your tongue. Keep on doing it every day, and when you get used to it, you can get 1 teaspoon every day, and bee pollen can actually make you get energy like that.
And you can also put it in your cereal if you want to. That's what me and my sister do. We also can put it in smoothies, which makes them taste way better. And yeah, it's mostly for energy, so I can get lots of energy, especially in one of those days where you're like, oh, I want to stay in bed. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Are there any more questions? Yes.
When you're collecting the pollen, should you wear a full body suit so that they don't sting you in the body?
Well, the question has been asked, do you have to wear, or can you wear a full body suit? Yes, you can, but I mostly prefer simple things because I also have like a sweater I can use. It's sort of like this, only it's like half a bodysuit. Yes, you can wear a whole bodysuit, but I prefer something simple, like just a sweater protection. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Are there any more questions?
Are there any more questions?
If there are no further questions, that concludes my presentation.